Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's my birthday today. I turned 65, and what I'd love to do is to deliver a discussion about a book, go on a walk and talk through the grounds here of Sydney University, and the book that I've selected for today's episode is entitled Why We Can't Sleep, a book that was authored by Ada Calhoun and published on the 7th of January 2020. Let's see what we can learn and take from this book and jump into the deep thinking of Ada and see if we can incorporate it into our learnings and use it in some way in our future. The first key message to come from this book is that you're not crazy, you're just worn out. This book is mainly directed to a woman audience, a female audience. So we'll just go through, but I'm sure there is plenty here that males can also learn from and leverage from. Ada's message that many women are silently suffering, struggling to hold down jobs, raise kids, care for aging parents, and manage debt, hits us really hard. And then you overlay on top of that menopause and all of the other challenges that women face in today's world, and you've got yourself a cocktail of challenge to consider. Ada peels back the layers of what society has long dismissed as mood swings or stress and names it for what it is. It's emotional overload without a pause button. What strikes us as we're reading this is how validating it feels to hear the author talk about this out loud in her voice and in her writing style, where there is no judgment, just recognition. And for many women who read this book, this lesson hopefully reminds you that your exhaustion isn't a personal failing. It's a logical response to decades of trying to do it all and do it all by yourself. The author here talks about the fact that women were sold a bill of goods. The author Ada masterfully unpacks how women were raised to believe that they could have it all: career, family, fulfillment, but weren't told what these things actually entailed. And you would find yourself nodding as she connects the dots between our mother's rebellion and our own quietly simmering pressure to live up to an impossible ideal. Listening to her, one feels a strange mix of relief and betrayal, but most of all, you get a sense of clarity, because this lesson serves as a wake-up call to all women to reevaluate the expectations they still carry and to redefine success on their own terms. The author here highlights that midlife crisis isn't just for men. Women have always tended to associate the phrase midlife crisis with red sports cars and fading hairlines, not silent tears at the kitchen sink. But Ada reframes it. For Gen X women, the crisis looks like insomnia, burnout, invisible labour, and the creeping sense of invisibility. Her voice on these topics, steady and reflective, guides one through this redefinition like she was laying out a map for all women. This lesson will hopefully open your eyes to overlooking one's suffering and how it's been, and why naming it is the first step towards healing. The author talks about money anxiety and states that it's real and indeed widespread. Ada doesn't shy away from the gritty financial realities that many women in midlife face: credit card debt, college tuition, medical bills, and retirement fears. Her honesty makes one squirm a bit, because sooner or later everybody's going to be there. And what one appreciates is how she layered personal stories with national data, creating a chorus of voices that remind us that all women are not alone. This lesson is a powerful tool for breaking the shame spiral found around finances and reclaiming agency, hopefully one powerful step at a time. She makes a very good point here that our mother's freedom ends up becoming our women's burden. There's a passage where Ada describes how the feminist revolution in the 60s and 70s promised liberation, but handed Gen X women a new kind of pressure: be everything, all at once, and without help. This part sticks with the reader. It's as if women inherited the ambition, but not the infrastructure. Her voice trembles slightly in places in her writing as this message is made clear and lands deeper. It's a lesson in understanding generational tension, not with blame, but with empathy. We need to talk about sleep and why women don't get it. Sleep in the book is a metaphor, and it's also a reality. Ada reveals how sleeplessness in midlife isn't just physical, it's symbolic of everything women are holding in regret, rage, longing, and guilt. You don't really think of insomnia in that way or see it like that, but hearing her talk about women lying awake in silent panic is like holding up a mirror. This lesson invites every reader to stop ignoring the symptoms and start asking deeper questions. What's keeping me up? What needs to change? The author goes on to talk about the fact that everyone looks fine, but nobody really is. Ada tells a story, and many stories, about women who seem to be holding it all together until you ask the right question and you get struck down by how easy that every woman can be the women in her book, smiling on the outside but cracking beneath the surface. Her narration makes the story feel raw and intimate, like journal entries, and this lesson teaches us to stop comparing ourselves to polished exteriors and start creating safe spaces for honesty, because all women need it. And the last key point to come from this book is that you're not alone. All women seem to have the same challenge, and it's up to each person to realise it, to appreciate it, and to acknowledge it, and to help each other. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.